So
5, 4, 3.
It's showtime.
Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome to the party, pal!
See you at the party, Richter.
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You did not gonna say that, did you? What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
To do the binds.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Inconceivable!
Little dollar smoothie pass.
This is a tasty burger.
Please.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the bad guy?
And halt. Smash.
I can speak with an English accent.
Hit the hash pipe and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
You went over my helmet?
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex? I know, right?
The list is in the open!
Hey, where are the white women at?
They're digging in the wrong place.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Are you not entertained?
Second start of the ride. And straight on till morning.
Meow.
You son of a bitch.
21 gigawatts!
Wax on, wax off.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous woody right now.
Bartender is the aristocrat of the working class.
You want to flip 6-3 whole play and you could score.
Cover me.
Dogs and cats living together, fastest terrier. On this team, we fight for that itch.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
No ticket.
No ticket.
I get older, they stay the same age.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. He's 15.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
No truer words have ever been spoken in a movie. Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I am your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate. Oh, my feelings, how are you, sir?
I'm good, better than you right now.
Probably. We'll get to that in a moment. What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie, you watch it, come back to us, and we break it down for you in this special From the Bomb Shelter. No, not really. All right, cool. Okay. So if you've been following the show, you might know that I live in Israel, which is not a fun place to be right now. And we might be interrupted in the middle. Now, in case stuff happens, YouTube is a weird place. In case stuff happens and I have to leave, what will happen is the show will just pause. All my feelings and I will drop down from screen. I will be leaving, so all my feelings will drop me down.
Yeah,
and you will left with this lovely background and some nice elevator music to go along with it. And when I come back, and I will come back, we will continue the show as planned. And if we need to go over the 2-hour mark, we will go over the 2-hour mark. Now, I've had a very stressful week and not a fun week at that. Which if you are watching the show and also watch the movie reviews, you might picked up on the fact that I haven't done any reviews. Even though I am kind of locked down in my house, I just didn't really feel like it. However, I did watch quite a few movies, which, I've been quietly writing reviews and, figuring out what to do. But essentially, I didn't really feel like doing anything because at a moment's notice, you have to drop everything and just go and just be somewhere else for about 20, 25 minutes. And it's not fun. However, me and my family are safe. We have a very secure place to be in. Reinforced concrete, old construction, which is apparently really good. and actually saved lives. I saved lives in other buildings that got sort of demolished, but people walked out, which is always good because you couldn't always replace this, whatever. You cannot replace lives. But I will have you know that despite everything, like I said, no truer words have been said in a movie that hope is a good thing. And I'm looking at this trying times as sort of we'll call it a test. We'll call it a test of character or a test of a nation, whatever you want to call it. And I think I'm looking towards the future. And it looks very dark right now. I will not succumb to the whole WW3 rhetoric. Remember, it's been like that for a long, long while. And that is the most I will go into anything that goes on beyond these walls, the walls of this frame, of this podcast, of this show, because this show is here to entertain you and leave everything out there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do until life will knock on the door again. So this June, we decided to do something kind of special because all the kids are kind of going off to some sort of a summer vacation, depending on which country you are. In this country, my daughter just this Friday went into her summer vacation. It's pretty long. It's about 2 months plus 2 weeks, something like that. So various different countries do it in several different ways, but essentially the Northern Hemisphere goes on vacation for a little while from school. But we are going back to school with some school-related movies. And what about this week? This week is Old School, a movie by Todd Phillips, a comedy by Todd Phillips, which people forget because Joker and Joker 2, Todd Phillips did a lot of comedies, a lot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he even complained, like when he did the Joker, I think we touched upon it, or I think I talked about it on my review. He really wanted to do comedies, but the environment in Hollywood does not really support any comedy or any comedy movies, especially not wacky ones. So we have Old School. Now, because there was a leap week, my feelings. How many times have you watched Old School last week?
Last week, twice, but I've seen it multiple times. And the first time I saw it was actually when I was actually in college, my freshman year in college.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. I actually seen Old School I think on a DVD. I don't remember exactly. I think it was on a DVD on somebody else's place. And I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know what was going on, but kind of a surprise to me. All right, cool. We'll say hello to the chat. Paul Harley, if you were here, you came in like 2 hours ago. Kaladin, Keely Chow, Kalikioki, God Emperor Dominion. I bow before you, sir, and the golden throne you're probably sitting on, being fed a bunch of psychers, or not.
That's Sandman Slims.
Sandman Slim. Oh man, Paul, I saw your message.
Buddy.
Yeah, I saw your message. Anyway, we will start the show as we do every single week with a little segment we like to call Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
Behind the Screens is where we turn to which one of us? Is it me again?
Oh, that's you. Yeah.
stuff prepared. But as we return to me and we get the lowdown on everything that is behind the screens, production wise, there wasn't a lot, which is sad. All right, cool. In 1998, Todd Phillips, premiered a documentary because when he started his career, he was a documentarian. The documentary was called Frat House. It was on a dorm and the whole frat fraternity system. Apparently, a very famous person watched that documentary and loved it a lot. It's a guy by the name of Ivan Reitman, the guy who did Ghostbusters, but also he was the one who produced Animal House.
Yes,
and loved the documentary so much he tapped Todd Phillips and said, "I want you to revive the whole college school fraternity comedy bit because it kind of died down as the clock strike 90s. It was very prevalent during the 80s, and when it came to the 90s, you got the Revenge of the Nerds sequels, and you've got bits and pieces here and there, but nothing really that impacted the culture.
The only one that I could think of, Paul's gonna get me on this, was actually, oddly enough, Jeremy Piven was in it. I cannot remember the name of the movie now.
Okay.
And the actual the villain in it was David Spade. PCU. Yeah.
PCU. Paul's got it.
Yeah.
PCU.
It's a great comedy. They're kind of a frat, but they're kind of just a bunch of scumbags living in a house. they're the losers of that, and David Spade's character is kind of the preppy, really like ultra rich kid in there, and they're trying to get him kicked off campus and stuff. But yeah, PCU is a fun movie.
All right, cool. But in general, that whole niche kind of went away.
Died out. Yeah.
And
I think one of the last ones that was really big is the movie we're going to cover next week, which is Back to School.
When was Revenge of the Nerds 2? It wasn't big though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't big.
90, 89?
I thought it was 88.
Maybe. Anyway, still pre-90s. So their first film, their first partnership, kind of like Ivan Reitman producing, Todd Phillips directing, is actually Road Trip in 2000.
Yep.
Which, kind of left all the 90s behind and made that. And because of that success, Todd Phillips said, okay, can we do another one? And Reitman said, yeah, sure. So he pitched the idea of a sort of a role reversal kind of a thing where it's not really frat guys. It's actually guys who, went past the college years already at the sort of the start of their 30s. And now they're putting in a situation where they are in a frat house. That was the kind of pitch idea. Todd Phillips and his writing partner at the time, I think they don't write anymore, but I haven't checked. Scott Armstrong wrote and rewrote every single day for about 2 months at Ivan Reitman's house, just to make sure that the script is locked down. And Phillips even described it in an interview as the writing boot camp, which is always fun because it's Ivan Reitman. The film took about 2 months to shoot, from I think it's January 2002 to March of 2002. And it was shot around UCLA, USC, and a little bit of Harvard. It really depends where you check in the information. Some sources pinpoint the fact that it's the same shots from Harvard that they used in Road Trip. And it's mostly like landscape shots, but yeah. And there was one extra location, which was a high school in the Palisades in LA, which probably burned to the ground right now.
Yeah. that's no longer there.
So before even the filming began, Vince Vaughn, the studio didn't really want Vince Vaughn at all because he was known as the guy who did Swingers and the guy who did Maid, and they didn't really think he would be a good comedic actor. And then he was hired because Todd Phillips really wanted him, and he worked with Will Ferrell in order to develop and kind of, find his voice with the character of Bernard or
Bernard,
Beanie.
Yeah. Beanie, yeah. Which it's so funny if you think about it, because from this he launched basically his entire career renaissance. This essentially was like to John Travolta, Pulp Fiction. Because after this, he got Dodgeball, then Wedding Crashers, and then just a slew of comedy films.
Yep, which he essentially plays Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn playing Vince Vaughn in a Vince Vaughn movie.
Exactly. Yes, Sander, and welcome, Becky and Sander. Join us. Take a seat, have some popcorn, and enjoy the show. Essentially, we're good, Sander, for at least for now. Essentially, a lot of the lines that he was going back and forth with Will Ferrell actually made it into the movie as a full-on ad lib because nothing was written. It was just a lot of it was freeballing, and it's Vince Vaughn. I think Vince Vaughn, out of the trio, works well as an ad-libber rather than just sticking to the script. But that's my personal impression of him.
Well, that's how basically everything on set was Swingers. Remember we talked about Swingers? Most of it was just him improvising.
Yep. And you mentioned the Wedding Crashers, and I do have a sideline. I didn't know if to bring it up or not, but you brought it. The church where Will Ferrell is getting married is the same church from the Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
The same location,
which is so funny too. Is also just another side bit was that Perry Reeves plays Jeremy Piven's character's wife in Entourage, which started literally around the same time that this film wrapped. So
kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the other side of the fence of the ad-libbing is Mr. Luke Wilson. Now, Luke Wilson is a very serious actor. Essentially, he is also playing Luke Wilson in a movie because I didn't see any difference between Mitch and Not Sure from Idiocracy. I am not joking.
That is very true. Yeah.
By the way, same character as in Legally Blonde, which was like 2 years prior to that. But we'll put that aside, okay? The thing about Luke Wilson, he is a very professional actor. A lot of his takes were one take and done. Continue on with the next one. So much so that on the set, the crew called him One Take Wilson.
Yeah.
Now, the trio, however, did really hit it off. Now, so the chemistry behind the scenes was palpable on screen.
Yeah.
And they the crew felt the wrath of pranks. Let's just say that. I'm putting it really mildly. Spearheaded by Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, it's like I wonder who's the one who would lead a charge on that one. Yeah, it's Vince, of course.
Which, to be fair, the filming crew, dubbed them the Wolf Pack. And of course, Todd Phillips stole that and put it in a movie.
Put it in The Hangover, yeah.
Exactly. The thing about it is, not only those trio, but certain other actors, they were all dubbed a little bit later as the Frat Pack, which is sort of like they're all playing in their respective other movies. So it's the two Wilson boys, Will Ferrell, Vaughn, Jack Black, Ben Stiller,
yeah.
And later on, that was like the core. And later on, it was Steve Carell, Paul Rudd,
Jason
Kevin
Segel?
Hart,
a little bit,
and Leslie Mann. So there's a lot of connection between that crew and like the Judd Apatow. And if you look at like old school, it's sort of a bridge between old like frat comedy, like Animal House. You know, we talked about it last week about Animal House, but it's sort of like, yeah, it sort of takes a little bit of Animal House and also brings in the new stuff, which is a lot of more sarcasm. And it's not really ha-ha comedy. It's more like situational and sort of like awkwardness and all that stuff that you can see much more in like a Judd Apatow comedy. Like in This Is 40 and I Love You, Man. It's not really Judd Apatow, but you know what I'm talking about? Those kind of comedies, which, you know, Paul Rudd and Steve Carell and all those people kind of 40-Year-Old Virgin is that sort of a comedy. It's not really frat house thing, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's always about a group of guys that have their own, like everyone defines and fits their own particular niche in that friend group.
Yes, sort of a camaraderie. You can put in like Zoolander in that type of comedy where it's really awkward, but it's not ha 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 comedy. It's not like slapstick comedy.
Yeah. Like I remember, like also like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Get Him to the Greek.
Yes, very much so. So Will Ferrell, we're going streaking, actually went streaking.
Oh, of course he did.
balls out all the way through. Now, the beer that he drinks was a non-alcoholic beer. I think it's called O'Toole's or O'Connor's or
it's
something.
O'Doul's. Yeah, it's definitely O'Doul's. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't write it down, but I just thought the name was funny because it kind of sounds Irish, but there's no alcohol in it, so it's kind of weird to me.
Which you know right now, if our good buddy Slims was here, we're like, blasphemy.
Yeah, exactly. Blasphemy. So the street where he was running was you know, a commercial street. There was a gym there. There was a 24-hour kind of a, you know, a bodega kind of a thing, you know, like a kiosk of whatever. And he was apprehensive because people saw a crew, you know, during the night and a naked man running down the street.
Here.
So he was kind of apprehensive because people were like looking through the window, especially on the first take. On the second take, no one was looking through the windows.
Like, nope.
And he felt a different kind of being apprehensive. Like, why isn't anybody looking at me naked?
Wait, they're probably like, honey, the cowbell guy from Saturday Night Live, I think he just ran past our window naked.
So Will Ferrell was really intimidated by Snoop Dogg for some reason. He could not get into the whole vibe. And the reason Snoop was there was he really didn't want to do this movie, but the movie Starsky and Hutch was also directed by Todd Phillips. Was a movie he really wanted to do. He wanted to be Huggy Bear, and he was vying for the role.
That's right. Yeah.
So Todd said, "Okay, I will give you the role, but I need you to do this thing for me." And he said, "Well, fine, no problem." And he didn't even have to act. He was just Snoop being Snoop. So it was easy.
And this was also right before he got his career renaissance in the mid 2000s as well.
Kind of. Well, we kind of covered like the first movie he was really in was Training Day.
Yeah.
Right? And then he did bit parts here and there, but not really something. And then he got the Huggy Bear, which was much bigger.
I meant music renaissance because in the 2000s, he had a big couple big hits, and that album went like, I think, triple platinum or something crazy.
It's his sort of like the collaboration that he did with Pharrell. Pop It Like It's Hot, all that was kind of the same era.
Yeah. Well, and Drop It Like It's Hot was the big hit that came out in like it was late 2003 or early 2004 when that
which
dropped.
is right around the time of this movie.
Yeah.
So the thing about Snoop is he sang the song that he sang was a modified version of an old song called Paid by Full by Eric B. and Rakim. He especially did that song because it's an old school rap song.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like, okay, old school inside old school. Now that whole scene, that Mitchapalooza, which is essentially at the kind of the start of the movie, it kind of starts off the frat house.
Yeah.
That entire scene was done at the very end. It's sort of like the last scene that they shot. And the thing about it is there were 300 extras there. And between takes, it was up to Vince Vaughn to work the crowd. And he did that for about an hour just to make sure that everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a comedian. Now, last two things, and then we'll start covering the thing. During the wrestling bits, the lube wrestling bits.
The KY, yeah, the KY wrestling.
Yes,
which
there's a what?
By the way, I felt so bad because for the longest time I could have sworn that was Malin Ackerman.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the blonde. I'm like, I don't know why. I thought that was her, and then I realized, like, oh yeah, I remember that because I conflated her with, as they were talking in chat, Couples Retreat, because she was Vince Vaughn's wife in that movie. So like I know I've seen them in something together. I thought it was old school.
Yeah. So there is a song playing in the background. Now I didn't catch the song. I had to when I saw that I was like, okay, I maybe know the song, but I don't know the name. The name of the song is Louie Louie. It's an old song.
Oh yeah, Louie, yeah. Louie,
it was playing during the famous toga party in Animal House.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the whole let's just say the whole wrestling bit killed Blue. So in the funeral, when you see a picture of Blue in the Navy uniform, that is actually the actor's real Navy picture when he was young, which was great. The name of the actor is I wrote it down.
That's Patrick Crenshaw.
Patrick Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Patrick Crenshaw. Okay, cool. That kind of brings us to let's play our first game. Okay, let's say we play our first game. First game of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Get your brains ready because this is Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off. We display them, and you guys in the chat, with the help of Mr. All My Feelings here, will have to guess which movie this is. And I think you don't need them. So let's just...
It's an easy one.
This, and we will share this screen for you guys. I'll zoom in a little bit. This is a movie you always forget when it comes up.
Yep. Old Johnny Melks.
Sander Hammerschlag has got it. This is Dangerous Liaisons.
This movie was so terrible.
This was a terrible movie. I was trying to avoid it, and then it came up on the fucking cable, and I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it.
Put out 2 bombs back to back.
Yeah. This and the one that he did with his son.
Yep. Sanders got it. And Paul's got it.
Oh, Paul's got it. And then Sanders got it. It is Gemini Man. And we talked about this movie last week.
It was so much. It's so much fun. This is like a comfort classic film for me.
Yeah. I really need to rewatch it because you know what? I've seen the the TV show more times than I've seen the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In the TV show, the dad isn't John Lithgow. It's the guy who dies in X-Men, who turns into a mush, the senator.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
It is not House. It is
well,
not
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
It's not even a horror film.
It's not. Let me pull this up.
It's really more the outline that's important.
Yeah, look at the outline, and it should tell you the name of the movie. Becky's like, dang, I was like just about to win this one. People are stumped. Oh, my feelings. What movie is this?
Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons. See?
In.
Here we go. Another one on my rewatch list.
We good?
Yeah, it's just I have to leave it on loud, so messages and stuff.
Nope, just checking.
Game's not over yet. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. Sander Hammerschlag's got it.
We need to cover that at some point in time. We haven't yet.
We talked about McConaughey backstage.
Yeah, this movie is so bad. It is so bad.
I think I only watched it once. Did Bale die at the end?
I think so. One of them died at the end.
No, I know a lot of people died at the end.
Yeah.
Kaladin's got it.
Yeah.
Rain of Fire. Sort of like the water world, but without the water and with dragons.
So not like Waterworld at all?
No. It's like Waterworld with fire. Sleepless in Seattle. One of the 4 movies they've done together.
He's right there. He's right there.
Essentially, they were all rom-coms.
Yes. You got mail and yeah.
Wrath of Khan, correct. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Now, this is, I know this is not a sequel of either. So, oh boy. You see what happened to those costumes later in life? Oh.
Yeah. I've heard Tom rant about that. By the way, this movie is going to get a re-release in theaters in the US. I just don't know when. I know it's soon.
No, see, Becky can't give you credit for that because TMNT is actually a different movie.
I'm going to give it to you, Becky.
The animated, that's actually the animated movie.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you, Becky. This is the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes. All I'm saying, it wasn't the sequel that had the ninja rap in it.
You've got Becky all frazzled.
What?
This is a remake of a
Yes.
This is a remake of a classic.
And it's really easy to tell what it is.
Oh, this version more than the original version.
This one's more iconic, I think.
Much more cheesy.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's very much of the time.
Yep.
Doba Fett's got it. Of course, The Blob. I think it's 86 or 87, right?
Yeah, it was during that where they were doing a lot of recreations or reimaginings of older horror films, given the horror boom of the mid 80s. Yeah, yes, got it right off the bat.
It is right off the bat. The Deer Hunter.
Great fucking movie.
Deer Hunter. Fucking another movie that you only want to see once, and then you're like, God damn it, you fucked me right at the end.
Paul, if that was the cover for Purple Rain, that would be a completely different movie.
It's very similar, to be honest. Even though Purple Rain was what, 84? I think.
Yeah, but still, though, oh my God, one of the best soundtracks of all time because Prince is just like, just don't worry about it. I've got it.
I've got it. Purple Rain, 1984.
84.
Dude, I'm telling you.
84.
I don't care.
Best year in films. I swear
84 is the best year in movie history. Take it on the whole. You have to take it on the whole. It's fucking franchises, cultural impact, box office. Well, box office is a little bit of a cheat because,
wonky,
inflation and all that stuff. But yeah. All right, cool. Not 71. I really need to put it down in writing. Now, I didn't touch upon one thing before we kind of start into the movie.
Shoot.
The whole the Dan band. It's a guy called Dan Finretti.
Oh yeah, which by the way, they got a big kind of essentially they went viral before going viral was a thing, and they got booked in so many places after this.
Yeah, and I saw like a snippet with the he's an actor, he's not really a singer. And he was like, I really wanted to break in, and I went into this audition and kind of sang a song, and they really liked it. And Todd was like, Can you do exactly like that? Because he didn't really know the name. That's why the whole swearing during the song thing, he couldn't remember the lyrics, so he just said "fucking."
But yeah,
as a sort of a bridge between the two lines. And Phillips really liked it because he thought it would be funny to have this raunchy wedding singer during this, let's say, touching moment, sort of like the bride and the groom dance.
The groom dancing, and again, everybody gets that one spike where he says "fuck" for the first time, and everyone's like, "Huh?"
Everyone's kind of turned their head.
If you notice, there obviously some of these were extras, especially the elderly couples that were dancing, because one of the old ladies is just fucking stone face, like, I'm just getting through this.
We'll get to the. Put a pin in the old lady. Put a pin in the old lady. We're gonna get to that in a bit. All right, cool.
I don't believe in elderly abuse. Stop it, Mef.
No elderly abuse. Just there's a little thing about that wedding, the whole Dan band scene, but we'll put that aside. All right, so we'll get to the start of the movie. So the whole premise of the movie starts with introducing us to the lives of Mitch and Beanie and Frank. Okay. So the first thing is Mitch is a sort of a real estate. He's not really a real estate lawyer, right?
He is. Well,
He's a real estate lawyer.
He's working over a deposition and everything, and even later they said like no, he actually is a lawyer, and he actually does go over the lease for Nicole later, which is going after legal terms. So yeah, he is a lawyer.
I'm sorry. I thought about the real estate more, but we'll put that aside. So he goes into this conference and he was like, I'm going to bails out, goes back home early, gets his home.
I was going to say this real quick. You can tell the timing when this movie was made, that it was filmed in 2002, because the cab driver just goes, what are you, some kind of... And you're like, oh yeah, this is the early 2000s. It was cool to say that word.
Well, it is what it is. So
and we got Juliette Lewis looking better than I think she did in Natural Born Killers.
Actually, she looked way better than the entire 90s. The good thing about Juliette Lewis, she didn't really ruin her face with too many plastic surgeries.
Yeah.
Which kind of looks like an older version of what she looked like here. Yeah. And she doesn't look that terrible.
Really good in, I don't know if you ever get the chance to see it, the show called Yellow Jackets. I thought she was really...
I've heard about that one. Yeah. I've heard about that one.
I think she's good in it. But
so Mitch comes in and he's like, he catches her with another
I don't know if you're into this. Don't worry about it. I know you watch videos. Sometimes I look at magazines and the guy comes out and grabs him. And this line I love so much. He was like, tell me honestly, is this the first time? Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to tell you this is the first time?
Exactly.
It's a great
and
line.
She delivers that line so nonchalant.
And how she's half crying. I'm really sorry.
And then, of course, it leads to Frank the Tank's entire wedding. Now, like I said, this is the same church as the Wedding Crashers. And
it does look it does look similar.
And the thing about this one is Vince Vaughn is the married one. Frank is about to get married, and Mitch is the one who is not really,
who just got basically cheated on, so he left his girl.
Yeah.
And it's Bernard going, don't do it. Just like, come on, you tie yourself down to one vagina for the rest of your life. Really smart move here, Frank.
And the thing about it is, and this is the most absurd thing about the entire movie, because, like I said, I've seen this movie many times. You've seen this movie many times.
Yeah.
Beanie, Vince Vaughn, always talks about getting pussy, getting the ladies. He is the most faithful to his wife out of the trio.
Well, it's like he's trying to live vicariously through them. And also, we're going to talk about the emotional manipulation of Beanie later, because, wow, does he lay that shit on thick.
Oh, yeah. So this is our boy, Mitch.
Where'd you move? Denver. The Sunshine State.
I'm not an American, but isn't the Sunshine State Florida?
Yes, you are correct, sir.
Okay. I'm just saying. I don't know that Colorado does have a lot of sunshine, yet it does have a lot of snow.
No, yeah. I love it. He's looking over at Leah Ramini's character. He's like, hey, put a good word in for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, will do, buddy.
And this to me, and this is like, there are certain elements in this entire movie that really reminded me of a Judd Apatow movie.
Oh, very much so.
Really, really did. Like, there's certain moments in this where, okay, I can see where Todd Phillips is in it, like, has his fingerprints, but there are moments in this where it's like, man, if I didn't know this movie and somebody would lie to me and say this is like an early Judd Apatow movie, I would have said, yeah, where's Paul Rudd and where's Leslie Mann? Because they could fit in this movie easily.
Who else?
Easily.
Who else's actual stuff that it really reminds me of is John Hamburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made Safe Man, Zoolander, Meet the Fockers, I Love You Man, Night School. Like, he even, well, oddly enough, he actually directed episodes of Undeclared, which was a show that was showrun by Judd Apatow. So, yeah.
So there are some maybe similarities, maybe inspired by, maybe I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like, okay, I could see this situation, this line, these characters in a different settings and at a Judd Apatow style movie. So yeah, there's a lot of like cross-pollination here. So Mitch essentially moves out of his own house. He finds a house that is not on campus, essentially, but it did belong to a professor that died recently. So he, pays for, first and last month, and he goes into this house. And immediately Beanie's like, okay, this is our place.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna gaslight the ever-loving fuck out of you to make my dreams come true.
Exactly. Now, this is while he's holding his son.
The baby. And also, you gotta love the bit, because I know a friend who has done this. Try to re-gift the gift that you got them for their wedding,
I was gonna say,
or like a housewarming present, because it's fucking fun every single time. Especially when the little kid opens up the gift, he's like, "Oh, look, it has 3 speeds," and he goes, "Ah, damn it."
So, did you notice the kid is like, wearing Goku style thing? Never mind. It's like a Dragon Ball Z outfit.
Oh yeah. He's wearing like a little that's his soccer uniform.
Never mind.
It's Nike though, but the colors they're black and
yes, that's what
orange.
That was exactly what I was saying. Anyway, the re-gifting thing, it's a spot on thing. It's a joke out of life that just fits within this. And while Beanies goes on and on and on about, we're gonna put the pool table here, we're gonna put this there.
And we need wall-to-wall sand. Trust me, I got a good sand guy.
And then, of course, we get to see this scene. I know it's a little bit scene by scene. We're going to move on in a bit.
Well, she even says, she's like, well, as long as you take it easy, we don't need to bring Frank the Tank back.
Yeah, and this is the moment where what I remembered about the movie and what I on the rewatch were two different things. I remembered that she's a much more of an aggressive wife in terms of, you cannot
nagging?
drink, you don't do this, you don't do that. Sort of like this in The Hangover, the bitchy girlfriend that Ed Helms had.
Ed Helms.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like he was about to get engaged to before, and then he gave the ring to
and she cheated on all that sort of thing. That I thought that character was this wife.
No, because Marissa is really not that way. She just kind of just is like, well, you don't really want you to revert back to being Frank the Tank again, right? And he goes like, he doesn't want it either. Because even when he's going through the party the first time, he has the 2 cans of cherry Pepsi. And it's like, no, actually, we're going to have a whole day planned tomorrow. We're actually going to go out. We may get nuts. We may go to Bed Bath & Beyond afterward. We don't know if we'll have time.
But the thing about Frank is the whole point of him with the car and going out with the guys, it's him kind of preserving the fact that he is single, but he's not really single.
He's actually still Frank the Tank. That's the thing, is he's trying to subdue the fact that he's trying to deny who he actually was.
Essentially Beanie takes over, and Mitch kind of gets dragged into Mitchapalooza. So when you mention it, Frank comes in and he's like, got 2 Pepsis, and he's like, we're going to go Bed Bath & Beyond. And these 2 college kids are looking at him.
Spanish and Hutch, I think, or Spanish and Butnick. Those are the 2 that are actually end up being pledges later. Like, this guy owns the house. He's like, oh, it's an awesome house. He's like, no, it's my friend Mitch's house. He's like, come on, you gotta take this. Well, I can't. Got an early day.
Yeah, exactly. He was, for a split second, he was trying to be responsible.
The responsible one. But he's like, okay, I'll do one. And then he's like an alcoholic.
Yeah,
he's like
as soon as it touches your
lips, it's so good.
It's like, okay, give me another one. And immediately he reverts to Frank the Tank.
And then we have Mitch meeting Darcy.
Yes.
Played by a girl that I had.
Alan Pompeo.
No.
That was Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah.
So Frank goes crazy. There's a party. Snoop is there, and the actual Snoop. And we're going streaking.
We're going to the quad.
This is the scene, and this is the quote that everybody who knows this movie quotes. We're going streaking.
Yeah.
And like we said, Will Ferrell really did go streaking, and this is the most hilarious. I thought this scene was the most hilarious thing ever.
It's so great. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, she goes, why are you slowing down? Frank.
Yeah. And it's like, Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Who's with you? They're coming.
It's like, Frank,
get in the car. You can see the actress where she's really like, I don't know if it was a one take, but her reaction was just like, oh God, scoot over.
Yes.
And then he's
I don't
like,
know if it
honey,
was a
do
one
you think
take.
KFC's still open? Perfect. It was like drunk mentality right down there.
So Mitch gets busy, and Elise, what's her name?
Elisha Cuthbert.
Alicia Cuthbert, better known as the daughter from 24, or used to
She's
be
also
called.
in a really great series called Happy Endings. It's not the way that you think about it either. It's a great
No.
fucking sitcom.
I know the
The
show.
show's fucking fantastic.
I know the show.
Travesty. But she was also in before this was The Girl Next Door was kind of her breakout movie.
Yeah. Where everybody thought she would get naked in it, and essentially
She
she
didn't.
didn't.
Nope.
And
and she actually even plays a porn star in it.
yeah, so the whole point is like they were teasing all throughout, and there was
like
no happy endings.
Like the subversive thing that they did with Jennifer Aniston in
Yes, in
film,
Wanderlust, yeah.
Wanderlust, and also for Dolly Parton in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Kind of. Yeah. So essentially, Darcy is her name. She gets up, she tells him, no, it's no bother, don't worry about it. It's just a casual thing.
It's Mitch.
Yeah.
Because it's a college hookup.
Yeah, it's a college hookup. No worries. But then, of course,
when he's sitting there, when as she leaves, he goes, I love you.
Yeah.
And then the one thing too, on the lawn, the pan into the lawn, a car fire.
Yeah. Because why not?
Why just throw it out there? Sure.
And to me, you could draw a straight line from this entire party to the first night in The Hangover. It's sort of like the
Very
same
much
thing
so.
where
Yeah.
you can kind of see what happened, but then, it fades to black and then everybody wakes up and you get this house with a tic-tac-toe on the fucking, on the fucking above the fireplace, and everything's ruined and the car's on fire on the outside.
Which you have to love it too, because literally the night that he comes home, it's the same day, the house is immaculate.
Yep. Exactly.
And Beanie's having the meeting of the potential pledges for the frat. But have to
wait, hold on. Daddy, wake me up at 10:30. Yo, I'll be awake, motherfucker. Sorry,
wait, no, 10:30 tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm gonna say,
she goes to bed now.
I was gonna say, isn't it right now 10:54 there?
Correct.
like, I'm sorry, baby girl, we kind of missed the time.
Teenagers. Let's just say teenagers. So this is where we get sort of the antagonist of the whole movie, essentially, which
Dean
is
Pritchard.
Jeremy Piven's character is Dean Pritchard. He's the guy who they kind of tormented during college or high school. Did they say high school? Again, I watched the movie.
It was back in high school because remember that Beanie didn't go to high school. Sorry, Beanie didn't go to college.
Beanie didn't go to college. That's right.
Yeah.
So, and they were kind of like the cool guys or the it guys because essentially Pritchard is one of the nerds. They stuffed him down.
He was actually the son of one of their friends.
Son?
So, yeah,
a brother.
Sorry, little brother. Ugh,
yeah,
my mind.
Anyway,
he was a little brother.
Don't worry, I make mistakes all the time.
Remember, he's still like you threw me in a dumpster. We threw you in a dumpster. Like, well, I got out.
I got out. And what he does is like he's being annoyed because they had a good time, and because he's the dean, he rezoned the campus to include that house, and he is able to kick Mitch out of the house. It's like, okay, you've got time to leave. And Mitch is like, but I paid, first month last month. It's like,
And
I
you
don't
would
care.
think, given his actual expertise in the field of real estate law, he could look at that and be like, oh yeah, by the way, this zoning is illegal. You cannot
Or a
do that.
bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be, it was illegal.
Illegal. Well, he did multiple things that were actually technically illegal. And that is,
And of course, the aftermath of this was Frank and I said wife, I don't remember the name. They're sitting at a couple's, counseling. And I was like, really? After one night?
That also, it seems like they have been married maybe for a month at the very most.
And that's where I had a little bit of problems, because if you just got married, even if you were in a relationship for, like, let's say you were boyfriend, girlfriend for about 3 years, okay? Really long time. Decided to get married, had, another period of being engaged, and then married, and then a little bit of married life. This is not 5 years in. This is not the 7-year itch, but they're kind of treating it like it's a 7-year itch kind of a thing.
Which is so odd, because this is when you're supposed to be quite literally figuratively, in the honeymoon phase
exactly
of your marriage. You're supposed to be excited about the fact that I married the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. This is great. Life is fantastic. Not 1 month in going, fuck, did I make a mistake?
Yeah, and if you're 1 month in, even 3 months in, and you're like, I need my independence and I think I made a mistake, leave.
So many alarm bells.
Leave.
That also, gotta love the fact that it was Beanie's words that got into his head. Because
yes.
I realized that I'm only gonna have sex with one person for the rest of my life. And then we're at the Olive Garden. Lovely dinner, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the waitress. I'm like, I wonder what kind of panties she's wearing. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's something really cool I've never seen before. Like, what? Are we not in the trust tree?
And this is where it's like, that it's going to cause issues.
Yeah.
And after this, she's like, not sleeping in the same house as him at all.
They're already in a trial separation within a month, maybe 2 months at most of their marriage. Like, then you shouldn't have not gotten married. No.
And or if you already did, just get an annulment.
Annulment. Yeah, you can annul it right now.
Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to last. So, I have to discuss this. So, the actor's name is Terry Quinn. I have to look. Sorry about that, guys. I have to look. By the way, we're an hour in. The movie's not that long. It's an hour and a half.
Oh no, we're getting real fast.
I want to get the name. He's not on the cast list. There's a reason for it.
I don't remember, but yeah, but you have to love the fact she was like, yeah, can you believe it? She's been graduating from high school, and Darcy, this is the first time she has to mouth, I'm sorry.
I want to get the name, god damn it. And he's not on the cast list of this movie. There's a reason. Terry O'Quinn. I was almost correct.
Almost.
Terry O'Quinn worked for one day and filmed all the scenes where you see him. So the scene at the very end where Mitch is kind of takes control.
It was just like, well, yeah,
works
you
with the
two
guys.
You do my job with my team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like, and that scene where he sits in that office. Terry Quinn did that in just the one day, and he is uncredited in the movie. He did it for fun.
Oh, well.
He did it for fun. He didn't owe nobody no favors. He was doing doing Lost, all that stuff. He did it for fun. He didn't tell his sons, which were at the appropriate age of watching this movie. They went to watch the movie, and they were like,
it's like,
what
dude,
the
is that your
fuck,
dad?
And they were like, why didn't you tell us where you were in this movie? It's like,
And
that's
also
fine.
his sons or his son's friends were like, dude, can you give me Elijah Cuthbert's number?
So yeah, that's another little piece that I just saved to this point because I thought it was very interesting. Not only did he do it just in one day, and to be honest, he has like 3 scenes, and it was uncredited. Why don't you want the credit? But
well, good on him.
At no point we know that he knew that Mitch fucked his daughter. I was waiting for it.
Coworkers even bring it up, like, "Hey, man, can we get in?" Because it's like, well, because I heard you fucked his daughter.
Allegedly.
How Luke just slaps him in the face because there's nothing going on.
Now, I forgot that bit about her being 17. I don't know why I forgot she was 17.
She could be 18. She's still in high school.
I was watching it in the living room. And when she said, "Oh, I was like, she's about to finish high school," I audibly said, "Oh shit." My daughter looked at me sideways. And I was like, I am going to make sure nobody does this to you when they're 30.
Yeah.
Anyway. Kind of a long thing. Anyway, Frank gets kicked out of the house. And he has to stay with Mitch. Which turns out to be a good thing because Beanie gathers the troops.
And again, more gaslighting and emotional manipulation where he just goes, no, this is what he would want. It's really what I want, but I'm going to talk him into basically making it so that this happens regardless of what he actually wants to happen.
And what does he want? Which actually comes to the premise, which is essentially about 35 minutes into the movie. You've got an hour left. And this is where he lays down the premise, which if you've seen the trailer, you know what was going on. It's like, okay, this is going to be a frat house. That's why we can stay on campus because we're
affiliated with the
essentially
university, technically.
Yeah, we're essentially a fraternity because it doesn't say in the bylines that the weird part is you don't really have to go to school at that campus. You just have to be a pledge.
Affiliated with the university. Yeah. Which is so great too. Is I love that Simon Helberg's character, Jerry.
Yes.
Was it like, so are we going to do anything for the university? Or he's like, no, we're not doing anything academically. We're not giving back to the university, and there's no public service. So like, how?
Yeah, exactly. Now that whole premise of we're on probation, that is a straight line out of Revenge of the Nerds. Because they were also on probation with Lambda.
The thing was though, is that they never actually they ended up getting Greek actual affiliation at the very end. Just calling themselves a fraternity, they would actually have to get sign on from a fraternity. No, the student council in this movie just said, we're gonna just give them a pass for a little while.
Yeah,
but but they have no affiliation, no Greek organization at all. So it's like, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Whoever's not has been in a fraternity or know how
I know
the whole Greek thing works.
It's like
it's
that's
sort
of
like
any
foreign
of that
language
works.
to us.
Yeah, it's not how any of that works in any way, shape, or form. Now you can't just be like, you know what? We're just gonna be like, we're gonna start a frat, okay? You can't do that, man.
And what does all fraternity? Because I can defer to many fraternity movies that I've seen over the years. So what do you do with a fraternity? Well, you have to pledge for it.
Now, usually
they had a lot of people
when they start, since they actually got their pledges. They actually started with their kind of like their pledgeship, because typically you have to rush a fraternity first before they pick you. When they pick you, then your pledgeship starts. And usually it doesn't get this bad until what they call Hell Week.
Yeah. Now,
And this is like from off jump. They're like, by the way, we're gonna blast Master of Puppets and abduct you off the street.
now I love the part where I think it was Frank who abducts some guy.
This is like, if you say about this, I'll fucking kill you. I'm kidding. You're a sweetheart. We'll have him back by dinner. And he just grabs a bunch of groceries.
Which kind of like puts us in perspective. It's like, yeah, these guys are like, they're pledging, but it's not really for real.
Like, they chase down Spanish. They tackle him into the fountain. They gently bring Blue into the van. And then they have the whole setup of the rope. Dick thing is like, Blue, do you trust me that I do not want to see you die tonight? Yes, sir. You're my boy, Blue.
This was the funniest joke in the entire movie for me.
It's great.
Because not only do they do it on the black guy, which fair's fair, everybody got the same treatment. The thing about it is, he didn't.
Weensy is a big motherfucker.
It's not because he was a big motherfucker, because he was fat or black. It's because his brick fell into a manhole.
Yeah. That's the best bit.
That was the funniest shit ever.
And they look so like, walk it off, big man. If we did not mean that to happen.
And you would think that's exactly what, like, your imagination of what's going on in these pledges. You know, in Revenge of the Nerds, it was tarred and feathers. In Animal House, it was thank you, sir, may I have another. Sort of like the craziest shit ever. The skull and bones type of shit, right? And you get this scene with the brick. It's just cinder blocks are chef's kiss.
It's great. And then right after this, we have just the scene where we have Mitch's worlds colliding with his coworker, where he brings it up, which it's such that juxtaposition that it's really kind of Beanie's influence behind it, where because it's almost like this guy's living through his own suburban hell. He's like, I only get respite on Sundays when I go golfing, and I fucking hate golf.
Yeah. So Mitch's co-workers, both this guy, which I forgot the name of the actor, but I think he's also a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
And Artie Lang, which
Artie Lang is hilarious. Because I cannot take you seriously using a computer trying to work in an office.
I could not take him seriously as a real estate lawyer. And I think round around this time that he did the movie with Norm Macdonald. I don't remember the name of it.
It was before this. That was a Dirty Work.
Dirty Work.
Yeah.
So it's right around this time, I think. So sort of like 3-4 years apart.
And he is just getting like really big on Howard Stern at this time too.
Kind of. And so the word about Mitchapalooza goes far because we got a little bit of a visit here. Like, to me, it was testing the waters because you could tell already that she is kind of into him, but not really. And Mitch is really kind of into her, but he's apprehensive of actually making the move. And this is to me classic Luke Wilson acting in any movie.
Well, it's also too that she mentioned the fact that she was already in a relationship. So he's actually, being a friend. He's not trying to, steal this girl away or anything.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of thing again that he does in Idiocracy and in Legally Blonde and in all these movies. It's a little bit apprehensive. It's just in this time around, I don't know what happened this time around. I kind of saw all the holes for some reason instead of just really enjoying the movie. The first rewatch was like, oh, I can see all the holes. And the second rewatch was like, I love this movie. Well, love is a strong word.
But can you see why I recommended it for this month?
Oh
in
yeah,
particular?
For sure. It fits. It really fits because, like I said, well, you know what? I'll hold my thoughts for the summary at the end.
Okay.
So Andy Dick,
That's
this was the worst part of this movie.
Yeah, this is right after his first really big issues, which I think it all really stem back from primarily what happened to Phil Hartman in news radio.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it really fucked him up.
Now, he does play to his own stereotype.
Oh yeah.
I love the fact that he has a tiny sort of like not pouch dog, but like a purse dog.
Purse dog. Is that a
wearing the same thing he's wearing?
Is that a Yorkshire Terrier? It's some kind of terrier.
I don't know, but it's a tiny little fucking dog. They're dressed the same. It's already pretentious. You already know. They don't tell you where you are, right? They kind of say the name of the school, but they don't tell you where they are. This is so California, LA.
It's California. Definitely.
Yeah, it's just so California, LA is not even a joke. And Andy Dick does lean into this character.
Yeah.
Like super lean into this character, which is like he is a gay guy giving blowjob tips to white chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, not even white chicks. It's
just women.
Just women.
Because he even tells the story about the sailor that he met at a TGI. Was it TGI Friday? No, it was an Applebee's. Applebee's. Promised he'd call me back, but never called me back.
Yeah, so he's bitching and moaning. And of course, because Frank has been separated from his wife, he comes in and he goes through the window and he sees his wife essentially maybe blowing a new dude.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help when he walks. He's like, when I get back in there, was a crouching tiger, hidden penis. Did you guys like that movie? I just like the magic.
And then, of course, the birthday party. And that is the sort of like second thing that everybody remembers from this movie is Frank getting shot by a tranquilizer dart.
He shoots himself in the neck.
Yeah. It's a nice little setup. It not really setup. It's a cascade of fucking. We'll call it that.
Cavalcade of fuckery is my term.
Cavalcade of fuckery. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am humble before.
Use my term. Use it correctly, sir.
So this entire party is a cavalcade of fuckery on two ends. First of all, Beanie turns out to be a really good guy, or at least a good dad, because
he's definitely a good dad.
He wants to make sure his son has a great time on his birthday. So much so that he himself will put on the clown suit and make a fool out of himself to make sure all the kids are going to have a good time. Not only that, there's a petting zoo. They have a pool. It's a great, everything's going great.
The pledges wear mascots and how Spanish walks with his head off. And he's like, dude, put the helmet back on. You're going to traumatize the kids.
Yeah. And so you've got essentially two sides of this because Beanie's in the middle here. Mitch, gets to see his girl, not really his girl, but the girl he's lusting over Nicole. With the boyfriend, and he's like,
well, because there's a thing where
doesn't like what he sees.
Amanda, the daughter, ends up injuring herself. So, well, it's Mitch that helps put a bandage on her and be like, oh, that's fine. And Amanda, the kid, actually likes him.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, the sign for Nicole. And then he runs into Mark, who's played by
Mark.
Craig Kilborn, who fucked up everything when he went, the Daily Show? I'm going to walk away from that and give it to Jon Stewart in the early 2000s. Like,
that's the guy who left the Daily Show?
Yep.
That was a strong move, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway,
to quote probably one of the better Indiana Jones film, he chose poorly.
Yeah. So he catches him and they sort of like, we've bros don't tell on
because
bros.
of
Yeah.
code. We're like,
Yeah, fuck you.
fuck you, dude.
That's on Mitch's side. So Mitch is sort of in a bind because he kind of digs Amanda. He met her at the first time.
No, he digs Nicole. Amanda's the daughter.
He digs both of them. One for one reason, the other for a different reason. So he likes the daughter, connects with her. He likes the mom, but he's in a bind because he doesn't want to be the one that breaks them apart because, the guy can always say, well, he didn't catch me. He wants to get in your pants. Blah, blah, blah.
That's fine, but he lies in the absolute reverse way, which later we'll get to. But so we have that bit, and then we have Frank with Sean William Scott's character.
Sean William Scott. And
his name
Sean
is
William Scott. First part ever that I saw him play that he does not play the Stifler.
Basically, because in Road Trip he basically played a Stifler in college. Essentially, yeah.
So in this one, he actually plays a redneck because I believed him to be a redneck and not Stifler, right? And the moment where Frank is like,
you know what his name is?
I didn't write it down.
Pepper.
Glorious.
I knew that would get you. It's like, yeah, of course. You can even tell that Pepper hates his fucking job too, because it's like, I got one of these in case these little assholes get out of hand, and he grabs the thing of the little like miniature pony or donkey.
Yeah, miniature pony.
Like, come on, try it.
It's like the pony did nothing. Why are you hurting the pony? The mini pony at that. And Frank is like,
oh, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, is it bad? It's just like, you should take that out like right now.
Yeah, pronto.
I like you, man. You're crazy. But I like you,
man. And Frank, of course, falls into the pool.
After running through, ruining the presents and the cake.
Yeah. And has a Big Lebowski style fever dream where he kisses his girl and then he wakes up and Sean William Scott.
Oh my God, he gave me tongue, kicks him right back in the pool.
Like I said, it's a bridge between the old slapstick stuff and the new stuff. This was old school.
Yeah.
It was old school gags. Let's just say that. Of course, we have that confrontation between Nicole and Mitch in his office because
it's not really a confrontation. It's a conversation about the loan.
Yeah.
Well, the lease that she's working on. But then before that, we have the whole bit with the dean's plan with.
Yeah, with the president of the Greek council, he kind of bribes her.
Yeah,
kind of bribes her to like he'll get her a good write up for Columbia because she's a senior. She wants to be accepted. Blah blah blah. And of course, later on, she comes to find out. Yeah, there's no fucking letter. There's no nothing.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But we have the bit with Mitch, and he almost tells her about Mark. Almost does. But he has that bit where it's like, you know what? That's on them. But it's then Weensy and Jerry walk in like, listen, we got an issue with the lube.
Yeah.
Right in front of Nicole.
Yeah. Now, the lube. Why the lube? Because
KY Wrestling.
In the basement, Fight Club style, Todd Phillips said this entire scene was inspired by Fight Club. Yes. Now, I didn't even think about look,
it was sexy before. Then when she just like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna start throwing hands.
Yeah. So the thing about this entire scene is like, I didn't even think about Fight Club when I saw the scene. I saw an interview with Todd Phillips and he said, well, I wanted to make it look like a crazy frat house version of Fight Club. And I was like, where do you see Fight Club in this? And then I saw the scene again. And if you look at how it is shot very much like that. But the thing about it is, because of what's going on, you don't think about Fight Club. It's just the way it's shot, not the actual content of it.
It only would have been funnier if a guy came down and was like, "I'm fucking Lou. Who the fuck are you?"
So this is the point where, before Blue passes away, another part of Beanie, and this is the moment where you're like, oh, he is just the hype man. He is just the guy who puts things in motion.
Because you think like, oh wow, so Beanie actually is a fucking scumbag, and then when she kisses him, he goes, "I can't do this. I'm married."
Yeah, and this is the moment where you're like, yeah, Beanie isn't really a bad dude. He's not a scumbag.
I say he's not a good guy.
No, but he's not a scumbag.
But he's not the worst person. So.
No. Because you have to realize, out of the 3, he is the most successful.
The most successful, and he has actually the most stable relationships.
Kind of. This is surreal.
And what's so funny is the guy who's playing guitar, also one of the pledges.
Yes.
One of the main characters in the USA series Suits for multiple seasons. He's the younger guy, and he's gonna actually be in the reboot. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was married in the show, engaged to Meghan Markle in the show.
Yeah, in the show, he's like her boyfriend. He's the guy who didn't really go to college, didn't really go to law school.
No, he actually never passed the bar, never went to law school, but he was able to to basically con his way through.
Yeah,
because he's that good.
Essentially, he's smart. Yeah,
he's a savant, essentially.
Yeah.
But have to love that it is fucking Kansas Dust in the Wind, which is like, it's great. And then we have the bit with Marissa walking with Frank, and he's like, "I'm really sorry I missed your birthday." And Frank forgot his own birthday.
Yes.
And she kind of just like, "I think I want a divorce." Well, why did we get married?
Exactly. And this is the point where you're like, yeah, we knew this as soon as you went to counseling. Like, as soon as you saw this couple at counseling, it was like, this is doomed. There's no way. Anyway, some of us have experience, some of us do not.
Yeah, it's not fun. I'll put it that way.
It's not fun.
So we have the confrontation beforehand with Nicole and Mark, where Mark goes, "Oh, so Mitch helped you get this. I didn't want to say anything, but Mitch was really inappropriate with the staff at the party."
Yeah, he kind of flips it on Mark.
Where I'm like, "Hey, by the way, you're just making up bullshit now. That just makes you an asshole."
Well, we kind of knew he was an asshole from the start.
Yeah. But he's also played by Craig Kilborn, which doesn't help because apparently he actually is a dick. So
now, I love this part where they're at this diner, which I don't know where they got this diner from, but I don't have any. I'm gonna let the movie play in the background. You can't hear it, right?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. So they're sitting at this diner. And you got what's his face, the waiter,
Brian,
who's been in Brian Callen.
So he was in Mad TV first, and then he had that podcast for a long time with a guy we don't talk about anymore because he made the worst comedy special of all time. Not Brian Callen, his co-host.
I know. Schaub, Brendan Schaub. Anyway, they're sitting in this diner. And I'm looking at the scene, and then the first time I saw it, I was like,
"This is Fight Club to a T." It was like, "Your money's no good here."
Not only that, I didn't even think about it at this way.
Yeah,
I was thinking it's something that's completely different. I went all the way back to 7. The scene where David's wife is talking to Morgan Freeman. So Gwyneth Paltrow comes in, talks to Morgan Freeman about the kid and the fact that Brad Pitt doesn't know about it. And I was like, is this the same diner? There's no way.
Oh, you're talking about I was talking about the framework of the scene.
No. By the way, same framework. Same framework.
It's
I went back to
shot
7.
On the other side.
I went back to 7 and saw it. It looks very similar. It's not the same diner.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's
it
interesting
took me back.
if you would actually literally do camera swap, so they are literally on the other sides.
They are on the other side.
No, but if you were to do that, that's Fight Club. That's how that scene is set up.
Yeah.
When the waiter comes up and talks to the narrator and says, your money's no good here, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Brian Callen's character, the waiter, is like, I want to be a pledge next year. I'm pledging
on pledging next semester.
Exactly.
Now, like, listen, you are a beautiful woman, but this man, he is a legend. You are having pie and coffee with a legend.
And like you said, it's very much
is a motherfucker.
It's very much reminding, sort of like Mitch doesn't know that he is a god amongst men, just like Ed Norton didn't know what was going on around him.
Yeah, because that's why, like, even when back in Fight Club, when he looked over and then all the line cooks looked at him and nodded. It's like, oh fuck, I forgot. I had no idea how far this went.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right. So essentially,
where they're having that lunch though, that's when Darcy, you see her the second time, and they're going, oh, we're going to our prom committee thing, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but both the girls go, hey, Mitch. It's like,
yeah,
you had the worst time, girls.
Yeah, this is where Nicole kind of gets the load on because somebody told her he's being inappropriate with young girls, and then she saw
the rumor, and then that does not look good.
It doesn't look good.
When he gets home,
really look good.
The house is boarded up, and it's a sign where it sounds like a letter that I would have wrote to you.
Yes.
It's like, love you.
And we've got a message from Dean Pritchard about the fact that any fraternity needs to, abide by the rules and undergo trials, we'll call it. So some of them are academic, some of them physical, some of them,
completely made up.
Completely made
up. There is typically a GPA standard that the frat has to uphold.
Yes, but some of the people in the frat house do not go to that college.
They're not actually like, that's why fraternities are not legally allowed to have anyone who is not an actual university student be a member of them. That's why you're you are legacy, which means you are someone from the frat who has graduated.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, you can't just be like, dude, I'm 42. I want to go hang out with Kappa Sig. It's like, no, you can't do that, man.
No, can't do that. And this is the point where Mitch is sort of like doesn't need Beanie to push him anymore. Because up until this point, Beanie was the one that puts the grease in the wheels and pushed everyone with his ideas. But this is the moment where Mitch is like, okay, I'm going to fight for these guys because I don't want anybody who is going to the college to get thrown out.
Get thrown out. Because even that was the ones that Weensy. My mom said, if I screw this up, she'll kill me. She showed me the knife.
Beanie kind of, hugs him. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Well, that also Beanie at one point in time was ready to walk away. And it's like, nope, gotta take tests. Fuck that shit. It's like, well, first of all, people's lives are ruined. Blue's dead.
So Mitch is the one who takes over, and this is where he's like,
he brings in his coworkers.
Don't fuck with me. I'm working my team. I've like, you have to.
I've already taken care of that deposition. It's already handled. Now can I work with my team, or do you have to keep riding my ass? He's like, well, you've got to take it up. Yeah, it's taken care of. Well, good.
Yeah, and it seems like,
and that's why I think it's Artie Lang's character looks over and goes like, and that's why they call him the Godfather.
Yes. Sort of like his name is Tyler Durden. And it's like, okay, you guys are pledges next year. And as soon as he says that, it's like,
they're like, okay,
what do we need to do?
And now the more that I think about it, looking at it under a Fight Club lens, I like this movie even more because it seems like
there's moments in this, and like I said, I didn't even think about Fight Club, but then from that moment in the basement, those situations, I was like, wait a minute.
Because I have it in my notes. It was reminiscent of the waiter scene was reminiscent of Fight Club, but I did not think of the basement in Fight Club.
I didn't even think about it, and this is why, dude. I've said this numerous times in the past, let's say 12 months. I don't want to say a year or this year. In the past, at least 12 months, going in and each one of us doing his own research made me appreciate some of these movies even more. Some that I don't even like, I appreciate them more because of what they were trying to go for. If it sometimes personally failed for me. Okay. I'm pretty sure if we're ever going to cover E.T. someday, somehow, because of, I don't know, Spielberg month, I'm going to find things about E.T. that I would kind of research about, that I would love about E.T., even though I don't like E.T. at all.
Fair enough.
We'll put that aside, but yeah, it's tiny bit of connections, but it's not a full connection. That's where inspiration is really important for movies, because inspiration for one scene can be twisted into another scene in a different movie, and it will fit that movie. But you know where the inspirations are coming from, even if you don't know.
What's so odd is now, given the Fight Club context, what the first bit of the candidates challenge is Frank's blackout, where he delivers that perfect debate. It's like, oh, so he became Tyler Durden for a minute there, or he became Frank the Tank, and then what happened? I blacked out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're supposed to think it's Mitch all along, but what about all three of them?
Yeah.
What about all three of them?
But so we have the academic, the debate test, and then we have
the debate test with James Carville.
Yeah.
I don't like James Carville at all.
I don't either. I think he's really good at debating topics, which is the reason why they brought him on. Because I remember, like, CNN's Crossfire, I don't think that show has been on since the early 2000s.
Yeah. But to me, he's always been like, he's a Clinton guy. Again, I don't go into politics too much. I don't like him, not his opinions. I don't like
him as a I don't like you as a person, sir.
Yeah. He seems like a snake kind of guy to me. So there's being a politician, there's being a political pundit, and there's being a snake in the grass kind of a political pundit.
Yes,
I
think so. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't trust anything that man says. So yeah, I love that scene because you would not expect that out of Will Ferrell, because up to this point he was Frank the Tank, because essentially he's a fuck up, and then from this fuck up he's essentially being an idiot savant Rain Man kind of style for 15 seconds.
Yeah, in so many ways. So do you think that he is kind of the narrator in Fight Club then, where he has those two versions of his personality, where that's the version of Frank that Marissa fell in love with, and then there's Frank the Tank that is the dominant side that's coming out. So he slipped back into his subdued suburban dad role, where he actually because we never actually find out what Frank actually did for a living either.
I don't think so.
No, we never find out. We know that Beanie owns the Stereo Cities.
Yeah, but
he's worth
does
like
come
$3
into
million
play.
paper that the government knows about.
Yeah. And it does come into play because everybody there has the remote radio.
This is the most blatant fucking cheating that would never fucking work. Because it would be like, so everybody at the same time goes, puts a finger to their ear.
Yeah. It's it's a little bit too much on the nose, but I do love it. I do love it because it's
great.
So blatantly obvious.
It's brazen. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it works. And then of course the disastrous
the team spirit bit, which would have gone really well, and you think he would have gotten more points given the fact that he basically suffered second-degree burns all over his body.
Yeah.
Which is something that you're aware of now.
Yes, I know.
Your coffee maker.
Not a coffee maker. It's a long story. I'll tell it to you in a bit. It's not fun, and I blame the Persians. All right.
Fair enough.
In a roundabout way. All right. I'm gonna put a stop here for a second because there's not much left because
So I figured we'd do that. We did the last one where they say that, oh well, you guys failed still.
Oh, you want to go straight to there? No problem. We'll go straight to that.
Yeah, because they did do the whole actual athletics competition where obviously like
this was amazing.
As a smoker was obviously someone's holding his legs up, but still it's fucking fake. It's fucking great, and he's going still hold it.
And then of course we got we
got Frank doing the floor gymnastics. We got Weensy. He's just like there is no way that little jump pad would have lifted you up, bud.
No,
you're at least $4 bills. There is no way.
Yeah. Poor guy. It works well though within the confines of the
joke.
comedy.
Yeah. So like, we all got 85s. Yeah, we're gonna pass. And then Dean delivered the news. Well, actually, because one of your pledges didn't, because Blue scored 0 and everything because Blue's dead.
Yeah. And he has that smug face on him.
Which there is no wonder why he got signed on to play Ari Gold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this when we did Smoking Aces. For sure.
He's fucking pitch perfect casting for a character. I could not imagine anyone else playing an insufferable prick as much as Ari Gold than Jeremy Piven.
And it's so weird because Jeremy Piven, I think the first time I saw Jeremy Piven was in the Gary Shandling show.
Oh yeah.
And he was playing a neurotic writer. He wasn't really an asshole. He was just like all frizzled and
I think
crazy.
The first time I remember seeing him was in Seinfeld. Because for the pilot, he played George. Remember the pilot episode?
No. Oh yeah, in the fake pilot that they wrote.
When Jerry and George actually made the NBC pilot for that.
I thought you meant the actual pilot.
No. That's come on. No.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway. And that's when he actually had his real quote unquote hair.
Don't be an asshole.
Hey, I'm a bald man. I could be a dick about it.
All right. Enough dick and balls. It is time for our second game of the night. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1. Fight.
Screen Fighters, where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad. If we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the girls, out with the boys, out with your significant other, two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? Old Boy, original Korean.
Yes.
16 blocks. Chat participation is most welcome. Just write down the name of the movie while we discuss feelings. Which one?
16 Blocks, I think, is a very underrated Bruce Willis film.
Agreed.
But Old Boy. Reviewed it. It's so good. It's still so good.
We reviewed it, and I have to say that story for story, regardless of the acting, story for story, Old Boy is much more compelling and mysterious, and you want to know what's going to happen next more in Old Boy. 16 Blocks is also one of those underrated stories where everything kind of turns on its face at the close to the end, and you're like, oh. Same with sort of like they're on the same footing here.
Do you know what movie 16 Blocks kind of reminds me of? That oddly enough had Bruce Willis in it. Lucky Number 11. A movie that we need to discuss at one point in time, which I think that would be, this could go in that month very easily.
Okay. We'll see. We'll have to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me it's Old Boy. Not easily. Like I said, there's something about 16 Blocks. Jumper or Charlie Brown's Christmas?
Charlie Brown's fucking little Christmas tree.
Which one?
I think Hayden Christensen gets a really bad rap because honestly, I kind of enjoy Jumper. For what it was?
I didn't even think you were going to go there, but okay.
I've seen a Charlie Brown Christmas so many times, I could not give a shit about his shitty little Christmas tree anymore.
I've seen all of the Charlie Brown specials many, many times. I don't give a rat's ass. I will not watch Jumper again.
Okay, that's fair.
I might have to for a review.
That's an interesting Japanese poster for Fury.
Okay.
Which is, by the way, that's the easiest one because Ang Lee's Hulk is one of the worst comic book adaptations and one of the worst films ever made.
Wow. Even worse than Jumper?
Oh, yeah. Miles.
Wow.
Worse. That movie, that Hulk is god awful. And you know how much I love Jennifer Connelly. That's saying something.
Let's face it. Jennifer Connelly cannot save this movie.
No.
She had chance.
Eric Bana, even like, this is right before Munich or right after Munich?
Before.
Well, I'm glad that he got to do Munich to show the fact that he can still fucking act. Same with like even Troy. Even he was good in Troy. Even
I think Troy 2002 or 2001?
Troy was 2004.
4?
Yeah.
Wow. My timeline is way off. And Troy isn't even really good of a movie. It's like Eric Bana and Brad Pitt is the only good thing about that movie.
Yeah.
So weird. It's so weird that it's Brad Pitt and Eric Bana and like facing each other. And Eric Bana is going to lose again.
Yeah.
It's Fury.
Yeah,
Fury is fucking good.
That's
man.
a good movie.
It Follows or Traffic?
We're gonna fight, aren't we?
Maybe.
Traffic?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know a lot of people hate Traffic. It's not that bad, but it's one of those compilation movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
it's built out of a lot of stories, like Crash.
Yes, that's the exact analogy I was going to make, because it is so reminiscent of Crash.
It is
Well,
this.
Crash reminiscent of this. Yeah.
It is the same. It's like Crash's 2006 or 8 or 7 or 9. One of those.
I think it's 4 or 5. I think it's 5.
Whatever. But it's very reminiscent of the fact that it's a montage of a movie. Sort of like, if you think about it, like Magnolia, right?
That or Go.
Go is a good one. LA, I think it's called LA Stories.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? I think it's called LA Stories or LA Secrets, one of them, where it's like it's a collection of stories.
That, and also there was one that was about a New Year's Eve. Paul Rudd, oddly Courtney Love was in it, but it's actually a fun movie.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Paul will remember it.
However, It Follows is a sleeper, really good fucking horror movie.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with It Follows, even though it's a smaller, indier, we'll call it. It's not really indie, but it's a smaller movie. But the premise is very compelling, and it's a straight down the middle story, like a horror story.
Yes.
Traffic is a little bit of a mishmash.
And what's great is it actually gave that actress who does a sublime role in what was one of our top 10 films of last year.
Ooh, yeah. Long Legs, man. Long Legs. I know it's not everybody's choice, but you should definitely do that. Now, this is the last one and the hardest one.
Oh.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original, or A Training Day, a movie that I brought up earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a tough pick. I'm gonna start.
Yes.
I'm gonna start. Of the two, the better movie is Training Day.
Yes.
Story for story, it's really hard because one is definitely aimed for children. The other one is definitely aimed for adults. In terms of story beats, story themes,
I would say oddly both contain a lot of murder, though.
Yes.
Oh, those kids are dead.
The thing about this is I love Training Day, but I have to go with Willy Wonka. I have to. And I'll tell you why.
Shoot.
It is such a big part of my childhood. And it's a movie that I could literally
recite,
throw in and enjoy an hour 45.
Yep.
Training Day, I kind of have to be in the mood to watch. I'm going to go with Willy Wonka.
And that I actually wholeheartedly agree with you on. King Kong got shit on this. Why? Specifically because Gene Wilder, I could not imagine a more endearing but frightful, like, actual actor portraying Willy Wonka. Specifically because the riverboat scene.
It's not just the riverboat scene. It's the fact that at all times he seems jovial and happy, and he can flip on you at the turn of a dime.
Which he does at Charlie at the end. Well, you failed. You failed, sir. You failed.
Yeah. Good day, sir. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, man.
Even though I still think Training Day is a better film. But
Training Day is the better film. But which one will... It's just the two. There's nothing else.
Yeah,
you just want to have a good time.
It'd be Willy Wonka, yeah. Because again, too, it didn't matter what audience you're with. You could watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm not going to sit there with a 3-year-old and watch Training Day.
Yeah. Of course, getting back to the old school. Of course, Dean Pritchard is a little bit too much. We'll call it gloating And
Yeah.
we kind of skipped the fact that the president of the Greek Council
No, that's
kind
what,
of
that's when it
tackled
comes
him
up.
in the
She's
hallway.
like, listen, like this is how blackmails work. She's like,
Yeah.
no, bribe. This is how bribes work. I know how bribes work. I bribe people all the time.
Yeah.
This is also kind of reminiscent of what's going on currently. Why Ethan Klein is suing a whole bunch of people.
Really?
Yeah, because they openly violated copyright laws by openly stating the fact they're saying, I'm taking money away from this person by streaming it live, so he won't get any money.
I
That's
have
what we
no
call
idea.
they're
And the last
fucking
time I heard
retarded.
the last time I heard the words Ethan Klein was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a whole bit where he basically set them up to fail.
Okay.
It's a content thing, which I found it funny because it's very reminiscent of this, where it's like, so you have to monitor your words, what you say out loud. And he says, I bribe people all the time.
Yeah.
I know
by the way,
bribes work.
In the movie, when you hear it and you know how storytelling is, you're like, okay, she definitely recorded him. Definitely. Yeah. And of course she did, because as soon as he kicked him out, he's like, fuck this guy. Oh, why don't you listen to this? Which is
why did you have to do it in front of the dean so he can try to grab it and run away?
And of course he tries to grab it and run away, and that scene where he's like,
and it's the whole thing too, how fucking how the dean is actually kind of a coward, but still when he realizes it's only for like, where are the other guys? Oh, they're not right. He just slaps him in the face. He smashes his head in a trophy case, starts beating the shit out of him. They roll through that, and he finally beats him up. He knocks him down, and he goes, this man accosted me. It's like, you all saw it. It's like, that's not, no. And he's like, I'm so cold. I see blue. He looks glorious. I did good, right?
Yeah, I did good. And of course, they used the tape to get everybody in. In come the narration, and everything went back. Well. Everybody got graduated.
And the paper about how the dean got expelled, and then we have Frank on. Apparently now he's the DJ for the local college radio.
Yeah,
and he's like, we're moving back into we move it to the old dean's house, which is now their frat house.
Yeah, I guess this. To me, this is just great, because even here he's also a fuck up.
Yeah. Because at the end he goes, because without you, man, I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere.
And of course, like any good 90-minute movie that you don't have time to tell everything.
Oh, gotta
at
throw
the
it up.
very end, you're like,
goes,
okay, it's time for exposition dumps. Yeah.
Yeah, so exposition dump and how Mitch is moving out and the Godfather's moving on, but like, oh, right about Mark the entire time, caught him red-handed, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And she broke it off, and she kind of figure out that she wants to,
So, and then they have the cut with them moving into the house, which they are Alpha
Epsilon Omega.
Omega, which is not a real frat.
It's not Alpha.
No.
It's Lambda. Oh, it's supposed to be Lambda Epsilon Omega,
okay,
which
it looks like a line that it looks like an A. No, I gotcha. So it's Lambda.
It's
okay.
Lambda Epsilon Omega, which is supposed to be lame-o. I'm not even joking.
That's fair. That it actually does. Actually is.
When I saw that, Todd Phillips said it. When I saw that, I was like, Todd, this is so stretching the LEOMO.
It would be lemmo. It'd be lemmo.
Lemmo.
Yeah.
Relax. It's not lame-o. It's Leo, but we'll put that aside.
But so we got that. Then we have Frank obviously taking his role as he's obviously the elder one, and he's hazing now.
Yeah.
His
And
new
this is the
pledges.
moment where they're like, he's shaking their hands. They're like, "Fuck you, pledges! Get me the thing!
Give me a beer!
Give me a
He's
beer!"
like, right now! What the fuck you think I'm joking?
And to be fair, they're more successful than he is.
He is, yeah.
He is the I forgot the name. He is the Bluto of this fucking frat house.
Yes.
He is right essentially the Belushi.
In so many ways, too, he is essentially the grown-up version of Van Wilder.
Yes.
But not as cool as Van Wilder.
Not as cool as Van Wilder. Yeah. And
So
I love the fact that they put on the like oil painting of the Godfather.
No, they have it set and it's perfect, and then it's askew and you go, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Exactly.
And then we have, I think, one of the first comedies in the modern era for modern comedies in the 21st century that actually had mid-credit sequences.
Okay.
Because we have Mark driving the car, and he.
Oh yeah.
We have Blue singing Kansas. By the way, we have Blue singing Dust in the Wind.
Yeah.
And we have Mark driving the. Was that a Ferrari?
A Camaro.
Oh, well,
I don't know. We'll put it on.
Yeah. Anyway, but he drives it over the cliff.
He drives it over. Oh, it's a Porsche.
It's a Porsche. Yeah, it's a Porsche. Of course, it's a Porsche. By the way, only douchebags drive any kind of Porsche. If you own a Porsche, seriously, sell your car.
Brendan Schaub has a Porsche.
Yeah, makes sense. But how he flips it on top of the deed and kills them, which is great. And then at the end, you have Frank walking down, and he runs into Heidi, which is kind of like the perfect pairing for the two, because they're stuck in kind of a perfect, like a permanent adolescent mindset. Oh, and the sorry, but forgot about the soccer scene as well. But
yeah, I kind of skipped the soccer scene, but it essentially just.
But it still shows that Beanie is a good fucking dad as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
But Heidi's like, we're having some people over. You should come by. And he's like, yes, I'm back.
And that is kind of it.
That's it.
Can't believe I made it without any sirens, to be honest. I'm surprised.
I know. Trying to speedrun the last bit just in case.
Oh, no. That's fine. That's all good. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of brings us to the end. A movie that I didn't really expect to be this fun.
I told you you're going to have a blast with the game, man.
Like, I've seen the movie, and it was fun. First of all, because it was a 90-minute event, it was really easy to just go through it twice, and I still couldn't remember a few things. Once I got to the notes, once I got to the research, I was like, oh, shit. 2 times. I had time, right?
Yeah.
Twice over, and still I kind of missed things. But it's all good. This is why we talk about it. This is why we watch these things twice. Put some spotlight on it. Think about other things. I love the inspiration from different eras, different types of comedies, the bridge between the old and the new. I love the fact that it was inspired by other things like Fight Club, by whatever. And there are moments in there that I'm pretty sure some of it is Ivan Reitman kind of influencing. Some of it is, Todd Phillips's, upbringing. Same with Armstrong. It's where they get their inspiration, where they get their charge. This is what you see in the script, if they let them do whatever they want. And that's debatable. I saw I saw a video about Forrest Gump. I didn't know how fucked up that production was.
Yep.
I had no clue.
It was almost
I
on my
cannot
list.
wait until we get to Forrest Gump, and
It was.
I don't know how, but we'll get
It
to
was
it.
almost on my list for productions from hell. It was almost up there, but the other ones had, actual deaths or multiple maimings. So we're like, yeah, we should talk about those first.
I have a month for it. It's called Never Go Full.
So there's that, and then there's what?
That Rain Man and Don't Call Me Sam or whatever that movie is.
Yeah, I Am Sam. Yeah, with
Sam.
Yeah.
Because he went full and he didn't get an Oscar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Kaladin, you're not the only one.
That's next year. That's next year. I don't care what people think about Forrest Gump. I love that movie.
Yeah. I'll do a quick round of my thoughts. I saw it the first time when I was a freshman in college. It was so reminiscent of what I was going on at the time. Of course, it rang a chord, and saw it multiple times throughout college because what are you doing at 4:30 a.m. at a party with nothing else is going on? People are passed out, or people are doing what they do, and you're not.
By the way, I didn't even think about it today, but I did think about it when I watched it for the very first time. I just forgot to bring it up. Elisa Cuthberg is supposed to be underage. Now, they didn't go as far as Animal House, where in Animal House, the guy there, I think it's F. Murray Abrams, who plays the character.
Yeah.
He has a choice. He even has a devil and an angel that kind of say, well, there's this girl. He doesn't know her age. And she passed out. It was like, okay, the devil says, look, fuck her. And the angel says, no, we're not going to do this. And he listens to his good side. And even his devil side is like, fuck you, fucking, homo.
Yeah.
And turns out she's underage. And he did the good did the right thing.
Yeah.
This is the complete role reversal where she was willing, he was willing. He thought she was a college freshman.
Well, because when she even wakes up, she goes, "Well, I have to go to class." So like,
classes,
she's obviously of age at least, and also prom committee means, and she says she's graduating from high school, which means she's actually probably 18, which means she actually is legal, but it's also still a moral ground of like kind of moral ambiguity there. And that
exactly.
It fits the character there, where he has his own kind of moment of existential crisis, where like, oh no,
that
guy?
Oh no, exactly. And this kind of connects it again with Animal House, and you can see that inspiration from maybe Ivan Reitman, or just from their own kind of set of. I wanted to put this in because it kind of reminisces. It rhymes, but it's not the same.
Now, in so many ways, I'm thinking of writing a critique on this, going, is Old School actually just a sequel to Fight Club?
Oh, don't. No, absolutely not.
Tie those narrative threads together.
And with that nonsense, we're coming to a close. And we will finish the month because we had a sort of a leap thing. We will finish the month with Back to School, the movie that kind of inspired the entire month, with Rodney Dangerfield and Sam Kinison, Robert Downey Jr., and the guy who I forgot his name, but he wasn't Christine too.
Oh, that is...
I forgot his name.
Keith Gordon.
Yeah. So go watch Back to School.
And also too, the villain, Chaz, he's the main villain of fucking Cobra Kai.
Oh,
he's Danny something.
Frank Zabka, whatever.
Zabka, yeah.
That's right.
The lead antagonist is like, oh, I know that guy.
It's Johnny. Anyway, so go watch the movie, and hopefully I'll be
prepared to hear a lot of basically Rodney Dangerfield material because Meph didn't tell me beforehand, but I already watched it a couple times. I was like,
it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. So go watch Back to School, and we'll see you next week. Remember, guys, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you next week.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.